I think it's so important to read bad reviews of things because it's such a great reminder that anytime you try to do something creative, anytime you try to put yourself out there, no matter how hard you try, no matter how much of your heart you're put into it, no matter how much time, love, and effort you give to it, there will always be critics. There are people that hate Beyonce. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what you do, there are going to be people who are dedicated to misunderstanding you and who are going to be mean to you no matter what. Like, this is a review from Game of Thrones in season one. It says, Game of Thrones, one of the supposed biggies this spring, is a big letdown. Why is it so convoluted and punishing? It is to television what the Spider Man musical is to Broadway. Like, there's just always gonna be haters. There's always gonna be people who are dedicated to, like, not understanding you, who don't want to see you shine, who don't want to see you thrive. And the role of the artist, the role of the creative person, the actually brave person, is the person who decides to make art anyway, the person who decides to be vulnerable, who decides to put themselves out there. Brene Brown so powerfully recalls this sense of being creative and creative vulnerability and the bravery it takes to make things when she recalls Theodore Roosevelt's speech from 1910. And he said, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, and who strives valiantly, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while doing so greatly." It's more valuable to try and to fail than to never try at all. And if you're receiving your feedback and your criticism from people who aren't brave enough to try in their own lives, you're destined for failure, because why would you listen to the timid souls who don't even have it in themselves to believe in their own ability? She goes on to say, if you were not in the arena getting your butt kicked, I'm not interested in or open to your feedback. There are millions of cheap seats in the world today filled with people who will never be brave with their own lives, but will spend every ounce of energy they have hurling advice and judgment at those of us trying to dare greatly. Their only contributions are criticism, cynicism, and fear-mongering. If you're criticizing from a place where you're not also putting yourself on the line, I'm not interested in your feedback. What a beautiful way to put it. If you haven't read her book, Daring Greatly, or her book, Rising Strong, I would highly recommend it. And from time to time, read the negative reviews of books that you really love, because it will remind you that no matter what you do, you will face criticism. And so you should go ahead and do the thing anyway. Paint the painting, write the show, write the book, write the poem, do whatever your heart calls you to do. Make the TikToks, however you want to creatively express yourself, because you're valuable and the real worth is in being brave enough to show up and do the thing.